Hello, friends, and welcome to the Saitama Stacker channel. My name's Dean. I'll be your host today. Hey, it's been a little while since we have gotten together, so I'm glad to be back on. I didn't die. I haven't injured myself, and I haven't been brutally ill, but I did get to spend a lot of time with my family, and quite frankly, I shut my computer and I just walked away from it for several days, which was a very strange feeling at first, and then kind of nice, honestly. But it was good to be present during a time when a lot of my family were around, and so I hope you also had an amazing holiday, and hopefully looking forward to start of an amazing new year for Saitama and for all things good in your life. So let's take a quick peek and see what's going on. If you are like me and you were living under a rock for a few days, there might be a few surprises here for you. I still had my phone and I still was checking Twitter, so I saw some major updates, what's going on with Saitamask. If you're watching today for the first time, please know I only make these videos for entertainment, education, and for community building around the Saitama token, so please do your own research before you invest. If we look at the price of Saitama right now, we're 7047, up a little bit over yesterday, but if we look at this 7-day chart, you'll see here right about Christmas Day, we got the big Christmas gift that lifted the price from, almost 7045 up to 4057. So a pretty monster leap, about a 25% increase, big volume day there. And so from there, we kind of see the volume trickling down some, but it's consolidating here right around 70475, which is about 10% above where it was before the Certic announcement came through. And we'll take a look at the Certic announcement, but before we do, let me jump in, kind of show you where the fundamentals are at, though it's a little skiwampus because I really didn't check in. So I kept track the first couple of days of what was going on with the holder count. So I had made a bet with the audience that on by Christmas we would be at 300,000 holders, and I bet 2 billion Saitama tokens. My up to that point was my reflections, and so I'm going to make good on that, and I'll have a live stream sometime in the next week, probably just after the first of the year, and we'll just do a quick giveaway, start somebody off in the new year right. And so as you can see, we didn't make it, but currently we're sitting at 296,017. So a pretty nice increase over the last week or so, up almost 10,000 holders in the last 7 days. All right, our current market cap is sitting just over 2,084,000, which would rank us number 74 per CoinGecko market cap ranking system. So if you just pop in there, we're not in there officially, but you can scroll down and look at the market cap section and see that our 2,080,000,000 would put us just above Cadena here at number 74. And now that we're verified with Certic, hopefully that brings us one step closer to some listings and to having our market cap solidly verified, so we'll start appearing in those ranking systems. So price 7047, volume about 12 million. Now there were some pretty good volumes there. Christmas Day, when that news came out, we had over 30 million in volume, which was exciting to see. And we should start seeing more and more days like this, and even bigger once Saitamask launches and people start transacting, either purchasing additional Saitama or using their Saitama to trade in and out of other ERC20 tokens that will be listed on Saitamask. So our current burn rate is almost a tenth of the way into the next percentage burn, currently sitting at 56.09%, 56.09%. Now, between yesterday and today, it's hard for me to gauge this exactly. You see, I've kind of shaded this out in red, and that has to do with the fact that I didn't check in. So I had to just take an average over those last 3 or 4 days to see about where we were at. If I leave holes in my spreadsheet, it blows the math. So I just used averages and filled in the spaces. About 2% per year would be burning at the current rate. And the 10-day average of what would be burned is about 2.5%. So we're going to see that start ticking back up here if the Saitama brings the kind of volume that we're hoping. And over the last week or so, we've burned, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 11 trillion tokens, which is good. We're moving towards getting that supply burned down, which should make each coin that much more valuable. All right, let's take a quick look at the Certic audit. So if you haven't seen this, I think this is a pretty glowing review overall for Saitama. They essentially say now that the audit is complete and that there were basically no critical, major, or medium errors found. There were 6 minor and 6 that were considered informational, and they kind of give a breakdown of what that is. With the minor, they say logical issues or volatile code, coding style or gas optimization, part of the informational part. All 6 of the informational are resolved, and apparently there are 2 minor issues still out there to resolve. So overall, this looks very good for Certic and for Saitama launching soon. Okay, so if we pull Russell's feed, there's a new announcement here that's actually pretty interesting. This was 4 hours ago, and I am December 30th, about 10:50 Mountain Time, which would be 9:50 Pacific and about 1 a.m. East Coast time. So Russell's saying, next weekend, Wolfpack, this will be the beginning of something astronomical. From now until then, long days of testing, injecting, and triple checking. Enjoy the end of 2021 this weekend and prepare for nonstop action in 2022. So very exciting. So it looks like they're signaling that the Saitama launch will actually be next weekend. Now, if we were to look at Max's Twitter feed, he had also dropped some information, hints about the Saitama launch. So, all right. So he just says, hey, everyone, this was December 28th, so a couple days ago. Looks like we're closer than ever to the Saitama launch. The apps are finally on the Play Store and the App Store, just finishing a few reviews and should be coming shortly. That the versions that are out currently are test apps, which will be updated with the mainnet live version on release. Okay, so per Russ, it looks like that release should be coming next weekend. So it's all very exciting, and it's just good to see that it's moving forward. The Certic thing, instead of dragging on forever, we're through that and ready to move on. As a matter of fact, I did a quick Google search, and it just kind of interesting to see what's out there. But you have a couple. You had a PR Newswire and a ZDNet, both talking about the fact that the auditing firm Certic declares crypto smart wallet Saitama is issue-free and hacker-resistant. And the other one, same headline, issue-free and hacker-resistant. So I think this is good. Those both those articles would have been posted in the last 24 hours. So very, very exciting, folks. All right. So before I sign off with my reflections, I will just let you know I have plans here in the next day, I guess, tomorrow, before the end of the year, to bring 2 things to the audience that you guys have been requesting. First of all, people have asked me to show an example of buying or selling inside of the Ledger Nano X. And I tried it the other day, and it was a little bit glitchy, but I've got a pretty good handle on how it works. So those of you who are holding your tokens in the Ledger Nano X, I'll give you an example of how you can trade in the DeFi space. Not super complicated, not really much trickier than any other wallet. Maybe a couple extra steps, but functioning well, and the safety, of course, still there. The other thing people have been asking me about is if I would basically do a tutorial on how I make my spreadsheets. And of course, I am happy to do that. And then at the end of the tutorial, I'll just make the spreadsheet that I'm creating available to the audience. So you don't have to make your own, but if you want to make your own, you'll kind of see how the coding and the layout works for that. So if you're interested in spreadsheets, that should be a fun video for you. And if not, at the end of that video, the new spreadsheet, I'll make it available, including a tracker similar to the one I use for the fundamentals that you can keep your own stats on. So keeps you a little more engaged, keeps your head in it a little more, and gives you open access to the history that you're creating inside your own spreadsheet. All right, let's take a quick peek at what's going on with the rewards. Now, I told you I did some practice selling and there were some glitchy things. It kept telling me my transaction failed multiple times. It told me my transaction had failed when in reality, it was going through, and I ended up selling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the exact same amount, and then paid some, the 2% essentially tax on, which is the reflections tax. But I'm going to be buying back most of what I sold there, and I actually sold at a little bit of a higher price. So I'm hoping to end up with relatively the same amount of tokens that I had and have a little bit of Ethereum on hand for when Saitamask launches. So I can maybe do some transacting there, more tutorials, or, pick up some of the tokens that might be listed on Saitama. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, but it's really, that transacting really kind of screwed with my reflection spreadsheet. So I do have a place now for additional purchases and sales. It's working okay, but essentially I ended up selling about 177 billion, which takes my current total down to closer to 500 billion remaining. And then these reflections just don't line up with what the norm has been. So I'm not really sure 100% what's going on. They're not super reliable. So as I start to create additional data going forward, I'll report my reflections. But for now, it's good to know, if nothing else, that if you're brand new to the Saitama token, if you go to saitamatoken.com, under the ecosystem tab, you will see that anytime somebody buys or sells Saitama, they take a little tax and then they redistribute that to the holders of Saitama through what's called a reflection or like a reward. So passive income, every 2% of every transaction with Saitama is deducted and redistributed to the pool of holders. So for me, from about November 21st up to Christmas time, I had received about $2 billion Saitama tokens in reflections. And where I lost my bet, those are the 2 billion that I'll be giving away in a live stream just after the first of the year. So stay tuned. I'll try to give everybody 24 hours notice on that. And I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you had a great holiday. Thanks for stopping back in. Tomorrow I'll bring that additional content. And then next year we'll hit it hard again with the daily videos. So appreciate you all. Peace and love. Take care. Check back with me later. We'll watch our Saitama stacks grow together.